And I'm a staff minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and I'd just like to welcome you all. You are in for such a treat. You have no idea what you're going to be experiencing this morning, but I trust and know that it will be a wonderful experience. And welcome to people that are here for the first time. We are especially thrilled to see you and hope that you find everything that you're looking for as you're out there seeking. And since you arrived here this morning, I know that we have a special message that is just for you. So we're going to start off this morning. We have a guest musician. We're very excited. He's traveled all the way up the road from Vernon, a very long way. But he's traveled all around, and he has an open heart and likes to fully express the love that he has to share with the rest of the world through music. His guitar is actually apparently his psychiatrist, and anyone that's a musician can probably relate to that. So I'm very, very happy and pleased to welcome Darren. So if you would join me in a round of applause. And he's going to start the morning off fresh by actually teaching us and sharing with us a chant.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for having me, and blessings to all you beautiful people. This is just a Sufi chant. I don't know if you know much about Sufis, but they do a lot of chanting and dancing. But so this is, the words go, and if you want to sing along, it's great. And if you don't, sing inside. Or hum, or tap your foot, whatever you want. But it goes, we are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. Then it goes 4 times, it does this. We are opening, 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 opening. That's good, right? Opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We're opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Opening up sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing down to the sea. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing down to the sea. Father, carry me, child I will always be. Father,
right here and right now, I recognize that there is only one thing going on. There is one power, one presence, one mind, and nothing else. This power in the universe, and I am a divine expression of all there is. I know that I am fully supported in the perfect idea. In every moment, I am deepening into the idea of living my life to the fullest, living my dreams to the fullest. I'm inspired to shine my light out, to be all that I can be. I claim the fullness of the new and exciting way. I claim to bridge the gap to truly be all that I can possibly be, to be the full manifestation of the perfection of spirit. I am infinite, and I am cracked wide open as I fill up with the full expression of spirit, of love, of goodness. Today I open my heart and I open my mind in new and exciting ways. I embrace all of my dreams, all of my visions, and I simply allow spirit to express through me. I know with certainty that infinite love guides me to my greatest expression. I know that all is well, and I step into that greater awareness of spirit. Everything in the universe, everything seen and unseen, everything known and unknown conspires to shine my light. I give thanks for this. I give thanks for this knowingness, for this understanding, for this love, for this peace, and for this joy. I accept the beauty of each and every moment, and I simply release my word, and I allow it to be so, and I let it go, and so it is. One of the ways that we allow our light to shine is by recognizing and knowing that there are many, many ways to do that. And many people all around the world, all around the planet, all throughout the universe, are always striving and looking for a way in which that they can honor that divine expression that rests within them. So here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we choose to honor all of the paths of the divine. So I'd like to invite Sheila and Corey up to do our honoring of all paths.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's great to be here, and it's great to see all your beautiful, shiny, gorgeous faces. So now to do the ceremony to honor all faiths. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Corey lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles.
another circle song. I call them heart songs. They from the heart, but not mine. It's universal songs. This is called "We Are One in Harmony." We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in love. We are one, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in love. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. Sing along. We are one in harmony, singing in love. We are one, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in love. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in love. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in love. We are one, singing in celebration. We are one, singing in love. I know this girl's like, one. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in love. We are one in harmony, singing in celebration. We are one in harmony, singing in love. Really helps to shatter the ego and become one with the group and lose your identity and sing from the heart. The sound current is the most healing of lifts us up from our karma and this trials and tribulations. So we can just, surrender to that sound current. It's, I think, one of the most powerful healers on the spiritual path. But I hope that you enjoyed that song.
Okay, now I have some words worth thought. These are the words of Thomas Troward from a book called Your Invisible Power. And actually in that book he's quoting another book, another series of lectures that he gave called the Dorian Lectures, the Dora Lectures. My mind is a center of divine operation. My mind is a center of divine operation. The divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. And that means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in the past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. Therefore, in my own special world, of which I am the center, it will move forward to produce new conditions, always, always in advance of any that have gone before. And so it is. We're really making him work because he came all the way from Vernon, so we want to really get the full enchilada. Full enchilada. He's just doing this fuller expression because it's forever and forever expanding, so what a great opportunity.
This is my original song. Ooh, ah,
The theme of Rev Joy-anne's talk today is, you can always get there from here. So welcome, Rev Joy-anne.
Yes, so I named the entire month, The Heat is On, and I want to know where's the heat? Okay, we're going to do that after. That's okay, that's all right. Yeah, you get to just be. Isn't that nice? We'll let you have a rest. All right, so I named it The Heat is On because I was here last year, and this is my anniversary day. I was applying for a position here, and I was hired. I'm so happy about that. was very warm. But, yes, and Paul too. Yes, we don't want to forget you. I got you a bottle of wine. Anyway, so I'm wondering where the heat is on, but I assume that it's still yet to come. So it's beautiful, beautiful. So that's our theme for the month, and we are turning up the heat here at the Center for Spiritual Living Kamloops by deepening into the truth of our being, by deepening into our divinity. And I'll be sharing with you some ideas today from a book called The Big Leap. So how many of you are willing to take a big leap from the little fish in the little pond and to dive into the greatest, grandest version of you yet to be? Who's ready for a big leap? Yay. So we'll talk about some of the things that can happen when we're ready for that big leap. But before we dive into this idea, I want to be sure that we realize that spiritually speaking, when I say we can get there from here, what I'd like you to know is that there isn't really a here and there really isn't a there. That it is all one, right? But in our humanness, it can appear that there's a here and a there, and so we're kind of on this journey of life upon life upon life. So again, the phrase is, you've heard it before, you can't get there from here. And how many of you have heard that? You know, you can't get there from here, right? But I know today, and what I'll be sharing with you is that you actually can get there. We actually can get there if we are willing to bridge the gap between our dreams or our vision and where we are now. So take a moment to see where you are right now on your spiritual journey. Where are you? We're all in different places, right? I love that we honor all paths. And so think about where you are right now, and then take a moment to think about where you would like to be. What is your highest vision for your life? Anyone have one? One of you. Wonderful. A couple of you. All right. So to lay the groundwork for that, I really want to remind you of something you already know. And that is this: long before you came here to this planet, long time ago, into physical form, you made a deal with the universe. All of us made a deal with the universe. And that was to live in ways that you were most fully alive. What brings you alive? What makes you so joyously happy? What brings you? Is it music? Is it meditation? Is it dancing? Right? What is it? What is it that makes you? Is it rafting? I see our rafting leader out there. Master teacher of canoeing. So what brings you alive? Because that is what this world needs. It needs people who are willing to come alive and to be in their passion, to be in their truth. And so long before you came here to be Reverend Pat, or Tony back there, or any of us sitting here, we answered this divine invitation and we embodied on this planet. And you agreed to experience joy. So check in, see if this is happening for you. You agreed to experience joy and love and abundance and creativity and fulfillment and expansion. You agreed to be blessed by blessing this world with all you had to offer. You made that agreement. I'm going to come here to this planet and I'm going to be a living blessing by blessing this world with all that I have to offer. So how are we doing? How are we doing? Are we living this truth that we came here to live? So I also want to remind you of a powerful passage that was part of our message today that Pat beautifully read. And it says that my mind is a center of divine creation. Say that with me. My mind is a center of divine creation. The divine operation is always for expansion. The divine operation is always for expansion. So we are here to evolve, to grow, to be all that we were meant to be alive, to be sharing our aliveness with others. But somewhere along the line, what happened to all of us, see if this fits with you, there was an inner thermostat that we set. And there are 4 ways that we take this thermostat and we limit ourselves. And I'll be sharing just very briefly these 4 ways to see if you recognize yourself in any of these 4 ways. So that's what we're going to do. So do you remember a time, and I shared this a couple of weeks ago, when you were swimming in an ocean or you were going diving in a lake and you felt the different layers? And what happens is when our old paradigm meets our brand new way of being, what happens is that it becomes a little bumpy. Who remembers that? It becomes a little rough sometimes, right? And so what can we do to continue the journey? Now, sometimes we allow ourselves to stop our journey. Anyone ever do that? You're going along and it's like what if there's a fire and everything burns and it's gone? What do you do? Has that ever happened to anyone here? I know it has for some. Yeah, that happened to you too, Joe. People, this happens all over the place with these fires that are going on. Even here in BC, it happened in Oregon when I was there. All of a sudden, everything that you have and you value in this physical plane is gone. And I see that as contrast and also as an opportunity. So consider me your dive master as we go through these 4 things. What happens is when we exceed our normal, when we reach for something greater than we are right now, that's when we kind of can hit this kind of bumpy place. But here's an interesting piece of information. People who are very successful in their lives are willing to be uncomfortable as they are growing. And so sometimes that discomfort can happen, and they call this the upper limit. So you're going along and you make a decision to go beyond where you've ever been before, and all of a sudden fear. You have this fear that comes in. So there's 4 things that happen. I want you to think about these, and I call them barriers, or you can call them a ceiling, a glass ceiling. For example, I'm going to give you a couple examples. This center has been a certain size, right, for quite some time. How many years? Almost 10 years. And it's never gotten bigger than a certain size. So because what happens is if this whole place was crowded, some people would feel like uncomfortable, right? And so we're growing, we're expanding, and so we hit this kind of barrier, but it is not real. It is just an appearance. And so we have to move above, beyond, and across whatever that is. And so the first step in dismantling our upper limit, or our thermostat that we have set, how many of you would love to be in a church like Agape with 10,000, is it 10,000? About 10,000 people. So imagine what that feels like. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that with me. So right now some of you have actually been there. I know Patsy, you just went there. So you were at Agape and there's 10,000 people. It's packed. There's lines on the freeway to get there. And imagine that is happening right here, right now. How does that feel? So our first barrier in the big leap as we move from the small pond to the big pond is this. Barrier number 1. Many people, as they move forward in their journey and are ready for the next greatest, grandest version of themselves, they feel this. They may perhaps feel that they are fundamentally flawed. Anyone ever feel that? You're fundamentally flawed. So here's the false belief. I cannot expand. I couldn't possibly expand to my next greatest, grandest version of me and my full potential because I feel that there's something fundamentally wrong with me. I don't love myself. I don't feel that I'm capable to go to the next level. So that's barrier number 1. Barrier number 2 is called, this is interesting, disloyalty and abandonment. So what about this? This is the false belief. I cannot expand to my full potential because it would cause me to be disloyal to my family of origin, right? To my family, and leave people behind. So think about that for a minute. If you achieved your highest possibility and went to the next greatest, grandest version of you, would there be anyone, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, that you might leave behind? If you became this famous person, this God-zillionaire, a God-zillion, what would happen? Who would you leave behind? Did it break the family's unspoken or spoken rule? That's one question. Another one is, even if I am successful, did I fail to meet the expectations of my parents? So take a moment right now and think about your parents. What expectation did your parents have for you? My mother wanted to be a nun. So I thought it very interesting that I'm a minister. I kind of feel like a nun. You know what they say about nuns? We actually have a nun here. Where is she? There she is. She's back there. Maria. What nun were you? What? Sacred Heart?
Sister of St. Anne.
Right. And so that can happen. Okay, so the fourth one, and this is why I have the word shine up here. So the fourth way or barrier to us, or kind of blocking us blocking ourselves to the next greatest, grandest version of ourselves is this. It's the crime of outshining. The crime of outshining. And so a lot of people make themselves small. Know anyone that does that? They pull their energy small. And they make themselves little so they don't make other people uncomfortable to be around them. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to shine our light, to be as big and fabulous. There's a whole poem about this. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Marianne Williamson. You know, it is our light and not our darkness that we're afraid of. So we want to let our light shine. So we're here to shine our light, to be the next greatest, grandest version of ourselves, and to have whatever it is our dream. So what is your dream? What is it that makes you come alive? And how are you at hitting that barrier of fear of not wanting to outshine someone else, your brother, your sister, someone else? You don't want to outshine them, so you keep yourself small and you keep yourself little. We don't want to do that. We want to break through that barrier, and we want to allow our light to shine. So that's number 3. And number 4, the last one, is believing that more success brings a greater burden. What happened if you or our center was really successful? We had 10,000 people. So who's going to greet them all? Who is going to take care of those 10,000 people, right? So that's part of what I feel sometimes, that as we grow, I need to break through that barrier that I am a part of, because we all have those. The false belief that I must not expand to my full potential, because if I did, I would have so much burden. It's heavy to have that many people. 10,000 fans. Have you ever seen people? Like Michael Beckwith told me personally that he would put on not a cowboy hat, but a baseball hat, and he would disappear into the crowds. And when I worked with Michael, when I was in Seattle, he came and did a lot of our retreats there. He's really good at disappearing into the crowd. He would put on a baseball hat, and then he became, you couldn't find him. And because there's so many people that want Michael Beckwith. And I got him to come to Medford. And it was quite a journey for me to do that. I went to Agape, and I had to wait 2 hours just to see his secretary. So I sat in the office, they brought a bowl of, M&Ms, eating chocolate, waiting. It took 2 hours to meet with the secretary. And she showed me a stack of invitations, every single pages of Michael Beckwith. They want him. Everybody wants him to come to the center. And he came to Medford, and people asked me, how did you manage that? How did you manage that? Well, I sat there and I knew the truth. I didn't allow, just because he's famous and well known and has all those people, 10,000 people, I didn't allow that to stop me. I consistently sat there, and another couple of hours, like 4 hours later, she said, well, since you've been so patient and you've sat here for so long, we are going to book Michael Beckwith to come to Medford, Oregon, and nobody knew who he was. I was like the only one in all of Medford who knew who he was. But as soon as he got on Oprah, then the line started, right? But there I was. So he came there. Can you imagine? We did a workshop. He did a meditation for us, a retreat. And the place was half empty. Nobody knew who he was. Now, if he did that in his own town, it would be packed, right? So it was an amazing, amazing experience. So we come across our barriers or our thermostat that we have put in place. And a lot of what stops us is fear, is our own fear of what's on the other side of that. It's the false belief. And so I'd like to share, honestly and frankly, about my experience in this. And I'm working on a really big vision. I've been given this really big vision. I've shared it with you before, that I feel called to have a worldwide ministry, to have this, to be involved in the whole planet. And I do a meditation that not only moves me to that point, but also to the universe upon universe. You always hear me say universe upon universe, never ending, always expanding universe. So when you have that, you have an expanded vision, or you're given that vision, it comes through you. There are things that come up, and that what happens is that it actually, you bump up against your ceiling, your upper ceiling, and you want to be able to break through that. I was in a workshop where I got in touch with this, and it made me so uncomfortable to realize that I stand in my own way, that I have to be the one that breaks through my own barrier, or my own, I have to reset the thermostat to a higher place, and I realized that. So it's often said that we should all learn from our mistakes, and we should all also learn from the mistakes of others, and the reason is because we can't possibly make them all ourselves. So anytime we can possibly make them all ourselves, so we want to, what?
That creeped up on us.
It kind of creeped up on you?
Say it again.
Okay. We should all learn from the mistakes of others because we can't possibly make them all ourselves, right? And so it's nice when you can do that. So you want to learn from your experience. You want to learn to move through your whatever is holding you back, whatever fear you have of any kind, and the thought patterns that we have. Eric Butterworth, who's one of the great metaphysicians of our time, he said this. He said, we are erroneously thought of success as getting there, but it's actually the journey. It is the journey of getting there. So we arrive, then what? Then we make another goal. So setbacks, even failures, are an important part of our learning process. And when we learn from them, we keep ourselves, our heart open. The most important thing we can do, the journey of 1,000 miles from the brain, it's really only 7 inches to the heart. But we want to keep our hearts open, very important. So here's what I've learned. We must see and acknowledge the upper limit as we bump into it without judgment. I started doing a radio show, and it was immensely uncomfortable for me. I'm not a Trekkie, what do you call it, a techie? A geek. I'm not a geek. And so here I am with 3 CD players, a soundboard, a microphone, and a computer all at the same time. And I'm doing all these things, and it's like crazy making. And I was very, very, very uncomfortable for the first at least month or 2. And I even told my constituents here, my colleagues, that I was kind of whining. It's like, oh my God, it takes 3 times as long to do a radio show than it does a sermon. Very intense. And so there I was, and it was very uncomfortable, but you've got to keep on moving through the uncomfortable part. You're crossing the bridge. You're going from where you are to where you would like to be. And if it is bumpy, if it is uncomfortable, if the bridge is a little shaky, you put one foot in front of the other and you keep on going. You never give up. You never give up your dream. You never give up your vision. And it cannot help but manifest. Because we are divine. We are the divine in manifestation, right? What was that face?
I agree.
You what?
I agree.
You agree. How kind of you. Okay. He's like, all right. So we must see and acknowledge the upper limit without judgment. Don't judge it. Number 2, we must be willing to repattern those paradigms and dismantle those upper limits, whatever that might be. And that's through intentional, conscious, internal, and external work. We have to do the work. We get the tools. I'm going to be sharing next week with you all of the tools. There are 7 tools of transformation. Transformation means going above, across, and beyond where you are now. We're going to apply these tools. We're going to go over them. We're going to learn them. We're going to play with them. And as I said, in September, we're having that play shop. I don't like to call it a workshop. On vision. We have vision boards, and that's going to be fun. So again, we must see and acknowledge our upper limits, and we must be willing to go across that bridge no matter how shaky it is, no matter how uncomfortable we become. We keep on keeping on. And finally, we must stick to the vision and to the dream that is calling us, that Spirit is calling through us that brings us alive. So again, think of what brings you alive. Is it your music? Is it working with the children and the babies? I know you do that. That's beautiful. What is it, Derwin? What brings you alive? Dancing. Anyone else like dancing? What brings you alive? And if you don't know, then it's time that you ask yourself that question. What brings me alive? Because what this world needs are people who are alive. And I like how you said that in one of our conversations about speaking truth and walking truth and living truth in the now. That's it. Speaking truth, walking truth, and living truth in the now. That was from Reverend Darren.
Thought, word, and deed align with the Bible.
Yeah, thought, word, and deed align. So it's great. So that, my friends, is how we cross that bridge and how we build a awareness and a consciousness so strong that nothing stops us. Hello, James.
Hi there.
Nice for you to join us.
Thank you for having me.
It's always nice to have you. All right, so we're going to anchor this in consciousness. I'm going to ask Darren if he would play the wings, and we're going to bring these ideas right into our prayer time and anchor them. Yes. So he's going to play all the wings. I have 2 sets of wings, and our wonderful Rael, who's gone, part of our music team, he didn't want to play the big wings, but Darren is a spiritual warrior, let me tell you. And he's going to play the big wings and the little wings, and he's going to play them together. So I invite all of you to close your eyes. As we take a moment to anchor ourselves in consciousness, as we recognize that there truly is only one power and one presence and one life, and that is the life of Spirit, the life of God. And this source, this energy, this creator is the power that creates worlds and universe upon universe upon universe upon universe, forever and ever expanding. And I know that I am one with this power, with this presence. I am not only one as or with, but I am one of God, here at the most perfect time to be alive, at the time of great change on our planet. And I am here to bring forward into my experience what brings me alive. I'm here to be a living blessing and to bless the world by sharing all that I came to be, all that I am here to be. And so I declare and know and speak my word that any barrier that I bump up against, any upper limit, as I am the small fish jumping in the air, leaping in the air into the bigger pond, as I leap into the bigger pond, I release any feeling of feeling fundamentally flawed in any way. Feeling that there may be something wrong, I cancel that thought, I release that idea. I release any fear about leaving people behind. I completely let go of the thought or idea or word that I could possibly outshine anyone, and by shining my light, I somehow outshine others, or that I might make myself very small so others don't feel uncomfortable around me. Nonsense. I let that all go. Or any thought of struggle or being a burden, that the bigger the church gets or the bigger my life gets or the more. Someone told me recently that if they won the lotto, they would be very upset because they couldn't handle all the money. That's nonsense. So we go from the small fish in the small pond to the big fish in the big lake, in the ocean of life. We take that leap, we step forward into the greater yet to be. Fearless, we are spiritual warriors. And we willingly step forward into that greater yet to be place without fear. We leave the fear behind. And so I just give thanks for this idea, for this thought, that I actually can get there from here. And that the heat is on here that big leap, releasing any barriers, any thermostats that we have set. Just let them all go. And we fully shine our light. And so please image with me, imagine with me that you are this amazing light. And I want you to reach inside your heart and turn up the volume of that light. See your light getting brighter and brighter and brighter, so it's bigger than you. And you are shining so bright it is bigger than this room. And then you turn the volume up even more, so your light is so bright it is filling all of BC and all of Canada. And yet it is even brighter, reaching out beyond Canada to the world. You are lighting up the world with your light. Having released all barriers. And I invite you to turn that light up even more so it moves beyond this planet into our solar system. And beyond that into the universe upon universe upon universe upon universe, forever expanding. Your light is tracking the universe at the speed of light and beyond that. You are that light of the divine. You are that light of God now, in every moment of every day. You are that light, and you allow yourself to feel that, to know that, accept that, express that. You come alive. You find what it is that, what blessing you came here to be. And you ignite it like a fireworks, lighting up the world. We're here to be big, to be fabulous, to be magnificent, to be who we are in our divinity, to love ourselves and love everyone. Love this world, love this universe, love life. And so I just give thanks for that. I say thank you, universe, thank you, God, thank you, life, for releasing all the barriers. Anything that I have said to hold myself back, I now let it go. I release, I let go, I let God. And we say together, and so it is. We are that light. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Sing the song that I did for the opening meditation.
Lord of the stars, Ancient of days, universe maker, there's a song in your praise, wings of the storm cloud. Of the dew, you make my heart beat. giver of life, heaven and earth are full of your light. Voice of the nova, smile of the dew, all of our yearning comes home to you. All of the fires the sun keeps me burning. All of the fires the sun keeps me burning. All of the fires the sun keeps me burning. Lord of the starfield, Ancient of days, universe maker, there's a song in your praise. Wings of the storm cloud, beginning and end. You make my heart beat like a banner in the wind. Oh, love that fires the sun keeps me burning. Oh, love fires the sun keeps me burning. Thank you.
So now is the opportunity to contribute to our growth and expansion of the center and of the opportunity to bring in more live music and to reach out into the community. So I would invite you, if you are willing, to take your envelope or your contribution in your hand and share with me the prosperity affirmation. I know Spirit works in my life in many different ways. The sacred energy that pours from my spiritual community attracts my attention, my support, and my love. As I give, my good multiplies, and so it is.
Heard there was a secret chord David played and it pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this, the fourth or fifth, the minor fall, major lift, king composing, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Beauty and the moonlight overthrew. She tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke his throne and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew the Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I walked the floor. Used to live alone before I knew you. I've seen your flag on the marble arch. But love is not a victory march. It's cold and it's broken. Was a time when you let me know what's really going on down below. Now you never show that to me, do you? I remember when you moved and you, Holy Dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was maybe there's a God above. All I've ever learned from love is how to do somebody who outdrew you. It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's cold and it's broken.
We are so blessed. And I'd just like to just take a moment to thank each and every single person for shining their light so brightly this morning and showing up this morning and making a contribution just by your mere presence. And I just thank you so much for that. We are so blessed. I have a few announcements. I'm just going to do them really quickly. So if you want more information, just stick around and ask some questions. The main announcement is that Ken Searle is our practitioner for the day, so he'll be available behind the screen if you would like a little bit more support in shining your light so bright. He will be delighted to help you do that this morning. One of the ways that we can make our light shine bright is to be of service and to be of service to the community. So we have a couple of, actually about 3 opportunities coming up in which you can participate in doing that.